Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to Mental Wellness for You. I am your host, Dr. Nicole Arcady, your mental wellness expert, and I hope that you have been having a wonderful, wonderful January already. I hope that this month and this year, 2023, has already turned out to be just phenomenal for you, and that you are able to just really get into some things of seeing what you want to do to make sure you are focusing on your needs. Well, we are in for a treat today. I am definitely excited to be able to bring on this next guest that we're going to be speaking to, and you're going to hear more about her. CEO Jennifer Oglesby, and I can't wait. So, this title is How Does She Do It? I am wondering myself, and I know her. And so she's going to share some jewels and some tips with all of you on how she is doing it, juggling life with being the mother of 5 children, being the CEO of not one, not two, but 3 different types of businesses, and also being a wife. And did I add she's still in school, also getting some additional degrees behind her name with those little numbers and those, what is that called? Not numbers, but letters behind her name to make sure that she is just continuously growing and doing all the things that is great for her. So without further ado, I don't want to stop you. I don't want to prevent you from hearing the greatness that's about to come. For those of you who are watching me on live, so watching me on the YouTube video, can you see behind me? I'm just so excited with how I redecorated my wall here. So behind me, I have all of these affirmations, these positive statements. In the middle, it says, love yourself. And so centered all around that in like an octagon kind of a thing, I have different pictured frames with different words. One of them says dream big. It says be happy. Can you see that other one? Never give up. That's one of my favorite. Never give up, because no matter what life throws at you, no matter what challenges you will experience as a mom, you are going to definitely experience some challenges. Just remind yourself to never give up, to dream big, right? To be happy, to love yourself. You guys know what I say, flaws and all, right? That is one of my statements. And what are some other ones? Keep smiling, believe in yourself, stay humble, and work hard. Well, we're definitely going to be talking to Miss Oglesby, Mrs. I'm sorry, because she's going to talk to us more about when she says work hard, because that is exactly what she does. And so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring her in to our studio. Hello, hello, Jennifer.
Hi, Dr. Nicole. How are you?
I am great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good this morning.
That is a wonderful. You know what? I just realized I forgot to put my earpiece in, but that is okay, because
That's
that's
okay.
what happens.
Right.
I realized, so we're going to hope that this stream, for those of you who are listening on the podcast, that it sounds clear
Right.
enough to be able to hear. And so, let me just go ahead and read your bio. So, for those of you who are not aware and do not know yet, Mrs. Jennifer Oglesby, she is, let me see over here, the proud founder and CEO of 2 companies currently: Community Services of America Developmental Programs, and which operates 3 adult residential facilities with adults with disabilities. She also later formed a nonprofit organization. You ready for this? It's called I'm Awesome. And it creates programs for individuals who are diagnosed with autism. Jennifer has more than 22 years of experience serving individuals with developmental disabilities. Her passion, the reason why she does this, is because of her son. Her son Bryce, who's now 19, he was diagnosed with autism at the age of 6. And she wanted to be able to make sure she provided a great service for her son. And so that was a big part of why she formed the different types of businesses that she's formed. She wanted to make sure to give back to the community, to be able to equip adults who may be living with autism or some other types of, I call it other abilities versus disabilities, right? To be able to have the fullest life and give them those supports that they need. So you may be wondering, well, what is her background? What makes her qualified to be able to do these things? Well, she holds a Master's of Art in Education from Loyola Marymount University, and she holds a Bachelor's of Art in Behavioral Health from Mount St. Mary's University. She further went on, remember I was telling you guys earlier, she went on to further her education, went back to school so that she could become a board certified behavior analyst. For those of you who are in the field of mental health, you know what a BCBA is. So that's what she did. And she is just super excited to be able to provide the services. And she's looking forward to opening up some other services and homes in the good old city of Fontana. So welcome, 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 Jennifer.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me on today, Nicole.
You are so very welcome. I had to take a little sip of my tea because
Right.
I realized my words were getting jumbled. So I had to make sure that I was drinking my tea to ensure that I'm coming out clearly. So
Absolutely.
Jennifer, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know I briefly shared that you are a mother of 2, 3, 5. A
5.
mother of 5.
5. Yes.
And you are married also, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And a CEO.
And a CEO. So 5. And my oldest, Bryce, that you just mentioned. So he's 19 now.
Wow.
So I have 19, 18, 13, 10, and my youngest is 6 years old.
Ooh!
Yes. Yes. So 5 kids inside the house. And between being a mom, as we all know, I mean, that within itself is a job. Being a mother, raising the kids, all 5 of my kids are different. Nicole, every last one of them. So I had to find their interest and likes and dislikes and kind of work that through. And
yes.
Besides that, I'm running these businesses. My husband, he works in commercial real estate. So I am solely running the company, hiring staff. And so I wear a lot of hats.
A lot. And so for those of you who are listening on the podcast, you can't see, she looks amazing. To do all the things that she's doing, she looks amazing. She doesn't look haggard. She doesn't look beat down, right? Well put together. Looks really, right? Really, really nice. So just with that being said, how are you able to do that? Because I if I'm not mistaken, did I hear that some of your kids are also homeschooled?
They're homeschooled. So,
oh my goodness.
Yes. So Bryce he's graduated from, he went to a local public school because they offered the best services for him. But the services that we want to offer him as an adult, which is why we created the nonprofit, they don't really exist. So Bryce has to actually age out before he qualifies for some of the services that the state will offer. Wow. Certain age, because he's not in school anymore. He wanted to graduate at 18 with his friends, so we honored that. He saw his brother, and it was one of those things. I wanted him to stay until 22, but he's an adult, so I said, fine, if you want to leave at 18, you can leave at 18, but now you're going to work at home for me. You're going to do something else, or so he's doing that. But so he's 18, I'm 19. Then our 18-year-old, he goes to the web school. So he's graduating this year. And now we have college and all that going on. But our last 3 are all homeschooled.
Wow.
Yes,
I just can't. I mean, one of the things I think is so important is, as a parent, as an individual, as a woman, to know what your limitations are, what you can and cannot do. And I can tell you, I could not homeschool my children. Now, some of you may say, but Dr. Nicole, you're a professor. That's different. Teaching, adults is different than teaching children, right? And when you have your own kids and you have to deal with that, that's a whole different game, a whole different beast. Absolutely. So my hat goes off to you with being able to do that.
Well, let me tell you. So I have a little secret with that. So because I used to teach, so I totally understand it. I taught first grade right out of college.
Wow.
And I understand. It's a totally different, it's just a different world from teaching your own children versus, going to work and you're teaching a classroom of kids.
Yes.
And so I actually hired an instructor. She comes into our home 3 days a week.
Okay.
And the homeschool program that they're on, they go down. It's at a local church near our house. So they go to that school to socialize on one of the days. And then there's only 1 day a week that I take off. And that's the day that we work on different things. And we may have field trips or different things. I'm only obligated to the 1 day because the teacher comes in and helps.
So what program is this that you said, the WISE or?
So no. So the program that they go to Legacy Christian. So it's it's a homeschool program.
Okay.
And they connect with different churches and different communities.
Okay.
That way, all the children in that area, they meet up there.
Okay. So
wonderful.
I love what you just said, because in my mind, when I think of homeschooling, I think of I'm at home with my kids 5 days a week and I'm the teacher, right? And so I'm like, oh my God, I can't do that. And so I like how you were able to adjust it what was best for you, and you got an instructor. So basically it's like your kids have their own private teacher
At home.
right? And you
Yes.
at home, in the
Yes.
comfort of their own home, and the safety, right? The
Yes.
familiarity
Mhm.
of their own home. You
Right.
just have to dedicate one day a week. But guess what? Some people may say, well, yeah, but they may not be well rounded because of the socialization. But I heard you say, no, they actually go on site with other students so that they can make sure you're still developing those social skills they'll need with interpersonal skills and interaction with people.
Absolutely. They go on site one day a week. We engage them into sports and,
Mhm.
activities. And the reason that I chose homeschool, so there's always like, your why or your reason behind
Yeah.
it is, like I said, all of our kids are different. So
Yeah.
my 13-year-old, he struggled with socialization. He did. He
Okay.
struggled bad. And I didn't understand what it was. So initially what I did, so imagine same person now, in this aspect, it was me doing the work. So I would
Okay.
have my computer, business is running. I got him involved in acting because I thought, what better way to open him up than to go on set every day,
Okay.
talk to mommy, because I'm over there, sitting behind on.
Mhm.
But now you have to talk to producers. You have to talk to other students. You have to
Mm.
talk to people on the set.
Wow.
And I say it opened him up. It opened him up.
Wow. I mean, I can imagine. Look at
It
those
was-
skills
it
that
was
he had to learn.
right.
Those are what we call transferable skills
Correct.
because he had to learn how, what you just said, interact with other individuals, speak up, advocate for himself, be
Absolutely.
comfortable, right? Asking those
Mhm.
questions.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. And he did some pretty, big projects, but the overall point is that it helped him socially. So it's just
Mhm.
finding those different, I guess, like pathways and avenues. And then because of the industry that I'm in, wearing, like I said, a million hats and doing my whole business, it was no way I could have my young kids in a traditional program,
Okay.
outside of their needs, because I guess I'm not considered, the traditional mom that can be there at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I want to show up and be there. So now we arrange everything around our own schedules as a
I like that.
Mhm.
And I love what you just said. It's like not being, what is a traditional
Right.
parent or mom, right? We have these, oftentimes I found that we have these ideals that we have in our head of what it's supposed to be. When I do therapy, oftentimes my moms are like, well, I should be doing this, or I said, well, stop shoulding all over yourself.
Right.
When you say should, it's like someone's pointing a finger at you, telling you that you failed in some kind of aspect. And so it's letting go of those ideals that we have.
Yeah.
And what does that look like for you? And I like what you just said. It's like you found new avenues that worked for you and your family. What works for you guys may not work for me.
Right.
And so you figured out what it took for you to show up and be there for your kids,
Mhm.
what was best for you and how that looked.
Right. Right. And it was a struggle because, I have my mom who's old school, and she's like, no, Jennifer, they should be going to, the local public school. They should be doing this. They should be doing that. And I kept telling her the whole time, I'm like, I get it, but I have to pull, like I pulled Braylon out of school first because I'm like, socialization. He's going to be an adult, and now it's that kid. And so when you go through all your children and figuring out what they need, you find the best path. And like you said, with what is the traditional mom, I had to come to terms myself. And so I told myself years ago, because it's always going to be like my mom came to me and told me, hey, that's not the way you're supposed to do it. But I'm a Christian. I always pray about things and I follow what I believe is like the best for my kids, and like you said, don't be hard on yourself and point at yourself like that's not traditional. I don't think anything in the Oglesby household is traditional. Because we have 5 kids, like we're here, there, running a business. But one thing I can say is that my kids they're confident. They know they're loved. They're being educated. They're well-rounded. And so those are all the qualities that we're looking for as parents. So if I'm not there in the, drop-off line at 7:45 in the morning, it doesn't mean that I'm not showing up because I show up to them in a huge way.
And all these other avenues that you're showing up for them, right? And so it's getting rid of this negative little voice that sits on our shoulders. You're not doing enough. Why aren't you here? Why aren't you right? And so I love what you just said, traditional mom. And trust me, I do, people who know me know I tend to be more, the conservative, traditional kind of thing, but I think outside the box. Some
Right.
traditions, right? And I don't want to, for those of you who like, I just have to follow tradition, that's okay if it's for you,
Right.
right? It's like some traditions are great, some traditions are not. And
Right.
so if they're not working for me, right, as a mom that's in 2023, then I have to look at what's best and what that looks like to pivot. And I love what you said is just don't be hard on yourself.
No.
If you have to pivot, and I talk about this all the time, the good enough mom model, right? Like you said, I can't be there at 7:30, but I can be there at 10. That's good enough.
That's
Right?
that's
I
right.
may not be able to make 5 meals out of the week, but I'm gonna make 3. That's good enough. Right? And so
Exactly.
being
Right.
okay with yourself with those things, that when you have to shift up some things and do what's best for you.
Right. Right. And that, I think that's key. And, and that's the
Mhm.
most important thing to remember is you do just, do what's best for you, do what works for you.
Yes.
You'll feel so much like the stress will just melt away because now
Yeah.
you're not competing. Like my mom used to always say, it was back then maybe keeping up with the Joneses or doing this or doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that phrase.
I'm like that sore thumb in the crowd because I do things at my own, beat. And the reason,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you and be honest, what changed me
Hmm.
was my oldest son, Bryce.
Okay.
Yes, the one who was diagnosed with autism at the age of 6.
Hmm.
He changed everything for me because
Yeah.
what I used to do that was traditional,
Mhm.
at that time when Bryce and Brian were in school and I'm there picking them up, I'm, joining PTA, I'm doing everything
Mhm.
that I thought I was supposed to do.
Mhm.
But I'm on my way home and I wanted to go to the store. And Bryce is like, oh no, not today. He sat
Mhm.
in the back seat. So then I thought, well, we can never go home every day after school. So
Mm.
every single day when he was younger, I would pick him up from school and we would drive somewhere.
Okay.
So I never so life changed
Yeah.
because of him, but now
Yeah.
he's doing phenomenal. He's
Yeah.
okay with change. You
Yeah.
know, our family's okay with change, and
Mhm.
we all adapted and accepted to,
Yeah.
how things don't work out traditionally for us. Yes.
I love that, because that was a great lesson that every single one of you learned: adaptability and
Absolutely.
how to go with the flow, right? And how to adjust, because we may be going one way, but life throws some things at us, a curveball, and you got to
Mhm.
be able to pivot, right? And make those necessary changes. And it can be challenging. And I found, as a parent of a child with special needs as well, right? And my daughter is an adult, dependent adult, she'll be next month 24.
Nice.
I know I can't believe how fast the time has gone away,
Right.
but I've definitely, learned that I had to do what's best for her.
Yes.
And it wasn't what I was anticipating, right? And so I had to quickly shift my own expectations, not of myself and of my child, right? But big time, just for myself, of what I was, the ideals I had of how it was going to look.
Right. Because you're expecting, okay, she's this age, she should be going to school. She should be doing
Yeah.
this, she should be doing that. And
Yes.
and so for Bryce, I mean, he changed all of us to where
Mhm.
I realized as a mom, and I wrote it down into all the kids, go off of what they like. Bryce
Mhm.
got a t-shirt line last year. He made
Wow.
a blanket. I wish I would have bought it.
Yes.
He
Wait
made
a
the
minute.
blanket.
Pause for a second, because you said it real quickly.
Oh,
So your son,
yes,
right, who has autism,
yes.
created and developed his own t-shirt line. Can you tell us what that t-shirt line is
Yes.
called, please?
It is called I'm Awesome, and I actually have one in the room, but I should have had it over here. But he created his own t-shirt line called I'm Awesome. He has multiple designs. We came out with the generic, label for it, but he has characters. His new thing is called the Line Show, and he has characters that he hand draws out, puts them onto the
Wow.
computer. He just made this huge blanket. And so my thing is, whatever he's interested in, we're interested in, right? We want
Yes.
to do that, that's what we're going to do. And
Yes.
that's the same thing that I do now for all of my kids. Like Bryce
I love
taught
it.
me to be a different parent.
I
You
love.
know?
Oh, I love that. You
Yes,
said he taught you
he did.
how to be a different parent.
Yes,
Mm,
he did. I
that
mean,
is
he has
amazing.
me right. He has me so out of my element. I have to learn. I'm like seriously, I have to learn dance routines, and I have to perform with Bryce because that's what he does. He doesn't have this huge Rolodex of friends that he's on the phone
Yeah.
with. It's now, I mean, he does have a couple that
Yeah.
don't FaceTime, but it's still different because it's not that engagement. You know, he likes
Yeah.
to dance and do things. So I go down there, I'll watch cartoons with him, I'll dance with him, and
Mhm.
that's just what we do. And we have parties probably once a month. He
Wow.
does. He has birthday parties for all his characters, which
Okay, I
seem
love
like,
it.
okay, right. Like, okay, he's 19. He's having birthday parties for characters. Like, you know, shouldn't you? I've had someone actually tell me that, like, shouldn't you stop him from doing that because he's adult? And I said, absolutely not.
Oh my
As a matter
gosh.
of fact, right. I'm going to go bring
No.
the cake today
Yeah.
for the
I
party.
I love how you
Yes.
it's that creativity, that
Yes.
right side of the brain that you're
Right.
encouraging and stimulating.
Yes.
Please, no, don't take
Right.
that away from
No,
him.
not at all. And so I asked him, he has to plan the party. We'll go pick the items up, but we have to plan it. You have to plan it. You have to tell me what we're having, you know, what we're going to eat or whatever it is. And so this year I've gotten him because he can't drive or, you know, catch the bus or do anything like
Mhm.
that. So I've introduced him to my favorite, Instacart. And so,
Oh my gosh.
yes.
Let's
I,
okay.
you're
Let me
like,
write this down.
yes,
Yes. Mhm.
Instacart is, it's like, it's,
It's a game changer.
it's a game.
Moms,
Yes.
for those of you moms who are
Yes.
not aware and have not caught on yet,
Right.
Instacart is amazing. For a low price of $99 a year,
That's right.
you can get your groceries delivered. So if you're at work and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to stop off, like I oftentimes think, oh, I need this, that, and the other, because they're out of this and they need it for breakfast or whatever the case may be.
Right.
I can go on Instacart to my local stores that I shop at. Usually I just do my Stater Brothers and add it to my cart. Boop, 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 boop. And it is oftentimes it's home before I get there.
Exactly.
And
It's
that has been a game changer
game
for
changer.
us.
It's like a lifesaver. I love it.
Yes.
So now I just make him be responsible for it. So now on my way home,
Love it.
if you want to have a party tonight, you're responsible for ordering the food, whatever we're going to have for the party. So he'll go on Bonds or, you know, Sprouts. He'll pick the stuff. He has a certain amount that he has on his credit card. And that's how we do it.
And guess what you're doing? I mean, I'm just all of these skills you're teaching him, independent living skills, right? Life skills that you're teaching him, how to shop, how to budget, right? All of these things that you're helping him learn. I mean, that is amazing. Just seeing how, I mean, so how does she do it? Well, she's already told us one way is Instacart, right? It's a great way of helping just eliminate the stressors of your time, because as moms, I just found I feel like I should have had stock in the grocery store because I'm always at the grocery store. I hate going to the grocery store, but I seem like I'm always picking up something. Right. So just to help with that aspect, Instacart has been one. And then I also heard you say pivoting when you need and to do what works best for you has been like some major things. What are some other tips that you'd like to give or share with us with regards to just how you're able to manage what you're managing?
Okay. So how I manage my day. So I'm very old school pen paper type girl. So I create a daily calendar. And although I have everything electronically because we have to, but I still need a visual for myself. It's like a visual.
Me too.
And it's a visual. It has times from like 6 a.m. all the way down. So what I do with a different highlighter, say from I'm up early. So just know when I say I'm starting at 6, that's late because I'm up at 4:30 in the morning. Just so you know. Yes. So I'm having I don't drink coffee anymore because I was like, oh, but I do have very good hot chocolate. That's my new thing. Yes. So I start at 6 after I have my me time. And Nicole, I know you'll love that because the mornings is all for me. And one of the things that I put on my vision board this year is I get an hour to myself every day. So when I wake up
in the morning,
every morning, it's only for me. I need that hour to just unwind, debrief, think about what I have today, and think about if there is something that I had to do today that might not happen, that I'm going to take off my list today, you know, depending on how I wake up and how I feel. But once that 6 o'clock mark on the calendar, I'll put a little, say it's pink around 6 to 8. And then I'm going to do my next thing from 10 to 11 and whatever my other thing is. So I see a chunk and it's 3 major things a day.
Okay.
Everything else is separate. I give myself 3 major things. And what I found that to do is relieve stress. because
Oh,
someone like me with 5 children,
yeah.
doing businesses, and have everything under the sun to do,
Yeah.
your focus today is 3 things. If you finish those 3 things, you can do something else.
I
But what that
love
visual gives you, and I always buffer it. So if I know it'll take me an hour, I may put an hour and a half or an hour and 45 minutes down, because now that gives me time,
extra time. That's the
extra time,
buffer. Okay.
right, to not feel stressed in that 1 hour to complete that task.
Mm,
Maybe I need to stop and go sit in my backyard and have a second cup of tea or a second cup of hot chocolate, or maybe I just
mm,
sit
mm.
back and relax for 5 minutes, and I give
Yeah.
myself that, because I used to have just items back to back to back to back to back. And
Yeah.
then by 2 o'clock, I'm like this. I'm like, okay, I
Yeah.
am stressing out. I have all this
Yeah.
stuff. I don't do that to myself anymore. So when I
Wow.
see that visual, I do that. I do my second
Mhm.
item. I do my third item. I check them off and I'm done for the day. So at the end of the day, I think,
Mm,
do I want to go to the facility today? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? Because I've handled the 3 major things that I needed to accomplish for
I
that day.
love it.
Everything
I
else is
love it.
secondary.
I love it.
And I had to come to peace with that, because I used to be the person that I had to finish everything. I had to make sure it was perfect.
Mhm.
I wanted everything to be done and just keep doing more and more and more, but not anymore. I've slowed down,
Okay.
probably because of my age, but I learned how to manage my stress levels, and that works for me.
I like that.
Yeah, and you can find these all over. I mean, they have them on Canva now. I can't think of the term that everyone is using, but they say that, a lot of like business professionals, they use the same method. They use that calendar
Mm,
method, they block it out, and those are the
yeah.
things that you focus on.
It's interesting is the interesting thing is I've always been a calendar, a planner person. I mean, that was one of the reasons why I created my Scatterbrain planner, right? Where you can write a daily calendar, where you checklist.
Right,
For me, I don't find it helpful with the times, but I
right,
know a lot of people do like you do. Like
right,
when I would sit with my clinicians when I was a clinical supervisor and program manager, I would sit with my staff and help them time, organize their schedule. And
right.
we would use the time and I would do the buffer time, like you just said. I think that's a great term of looking at it. Telling themselves and make sure they give themselves enough time to drive from, because it was community-based therapy, right?
Right,
Mental health. Enough time to drive from one home to the next to make sure they was going to be okay. But we would use the time slots, right?
right.
So I at least just write out a checklist. But I love what you said. I'm just going to summarize what I heard you say. One thing I heard you say is you had the self-awareness to gauge what was needed for you, and that you gave yourself an hour in the morning before you even started. And
Yes,
that was your time to do whatever, drink your hot chocolate, to stretch, whatever you need to do in the morning. And you had the self-awareness to gauge how you were feeling, what you wanted to do for that day.
right.
And then once you had that together, you wrote out 3 major things you were going to focus on to accomplish for that day. That was it. You may
Yep,
have had 55 different things, but
right,
you focus on 3. And if you completed the 3 tasks, you could do some additional ones if you wanted to,
right,
but you didn't have to feel that pressure of having to do that.
right. And
I love,
that's my day to day. Every
I
single day,
love.
that's my day to day, and I create little rewards for myself. So I know what
Okay.
So although I have my 3 smaller accomplishments or
Mm-hmm.
things that I need to get done for that day, it's always a big picture. So when I hit that big picture mark, I
Okay.
reward myself now. And as a mom,
Big
as a
picture.
wife,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of our time is not really spent rewarding ourselves, because we're like, oh, that's
Ooh.
selfish, or I need to go
Yeah.
do this, or I need to go do that. Well,
Yeah.
now I do reward myself, because it's like a little motivation piece to
I
get.
love it.
And guess what? You deserve it. You
You
deserve it.
do.
And it's
Right.
right. You do.
So can you give us some examples of like what are some things you do to reward yourself?
I'll get up, go for a massage, go to
Mm-hmm.
dinner.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go buy myself something. I found this cute little store, Zara, that I love now. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my new motivation piece,
Mm-hmm.
because I know I can always go get a massage, but I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go buy an outfit today and I'm gonna be okay with it. I'm gonna go over to Victoria Gardens, reward
Mm-hmm.
myself, and maybe it's a trip. I tell my husband, like, hey, we're going to go on a trip in March, or we're going to do this, but I reward myself now accordingly to different things that I have going on. And it's just important.
I mean, I love that, just seeing how you're able to reward yourself. Are there some things that you have been able to do? Because some people may not be able to afford to get a massage or go on a trip, right? Those types of things. What are some things that you can recommend as far as rewarding yourself that may be cost effective, or it may not even cost anything?
Right. I would say it's just taking that time. So you know how I'm taking that time for an hour in the morning?
Yeah.
Take the time to yourself just to go sit in your backyard, sit on your balcony, you know, make a hot cup of tea and just start writing and just write your thoughts out. Or maybe you just go for a walk, you know, just go out into the community, just do something to where the real reward is stopping what you're doing and taking time for yourself. That's it's closing the doors on everything else that we're doing every single day. And now it's just your world. You know, it's just, if you could close those doors and give yourself an hour, that is just like, it's so powerful because we never stop as moms, as women,
constantly going, right?
We go, you know, just give yourself that little bit of time and just keep rewarding yourself, you know, internally, like, good job. Like I did this today. Keep telling yourselves little things, motivate yourself, and just get out there and do it.
Look, I'm running out of paper. All the things that you're saying. Right? I mean, just because I love that. Motivating yourself is so very important. Like you said, good job. Right. I tell people all the time, you know, walk by a mirror and go, oh, girl, you look good today, right? Pat yourself on the shoulder when you do something good. Like, oh, you did a good job, Nicole. I'm just so, right? We have to be able to encourage and motivate ourselves. And I like what you just said. All the things you mentioned that are free 99, right, does not cost a cent, are things I encourage clients to do. And I encourage my women to do, and my moms, which is go outside, you know, breathe in the fresh air, go for a walk. That's going to help to stimulate your body and, you know, get the blood flowing. That helps with your mood as well. You know, take a moment just to sit there with your thoughts, write them out for the day, right? Just be appreciative and grateful for even waking up, right, in the right mind. If you have use of your limbs, you never know. And it makes it, and you don't want this to happen. We really appreciate things when it's taken away from us. Then we go, oh man, I didn't know how easy it was to do X, Y, and Z. Oh man, and I don't want that to happen to you. So I'm saying appreciate taking breath in through your nostril without having assistance. Appreciate, like, I can, you know, sip my cup of tea without needing a feeding tube or having some assistance to do that. These are small things that we can be appreciative and grateful for. That's going to help us with our mental wellness. But I just love all of what you said. And I will say something that I'm taking from this is I need to do a better job at creating my buffer time. Because one of the things that I've noticed, and my assistant has told me, my husband has told me, and I'm becoming aware, is that I overestimate how much time I have. Or I overestimate, like, when I say that is, I'm like, oh, okay, I have about 2 hours in here. I can do this, you know, within this hour frame, but I don't think about, I may need, like you said, the recuperation time. I may need to recuperate afterwards, take a moment to pause and breathe, and so that I'm not running to this thing and the next. I need to do a better job. And that's what I'm going to work on for this, you know, 2023 and this next month or two, is creating a better buffer time zone, you know, for myself, to buffer in between things that I'm doing, to allow myself to take more breaks, right, in between my tasks. Because I don't bunch my task up, but I still like having extra time. So if I think it may take me an hour, give myself 2 hours, because then I can, you know, relax before I go to the next thing. I could drink some tea if I want, or some hot chocolate, which I love hot chocolate. Me too. When we finish here, I'm definitely going to go make me some hot chocolate. So you're right. So just seeing those things, and I do have to say, as we've been on this, you know, interview, and we're doing this, and we were talking about, you said hot chocolate, I just thought, you know, that sounds delicious, but I ran out of almond milk. Now, I drink almond milk. So I'm like, almond milk, I thought the same thing. But when you get a little older, your body changes. And the things that I used to be able to drink and tolerate, no longer can do. So dairy is no bueno for me. And so I use almond milk. Well, I buy myself almond milk, and my youngest son, he drinks the almond milk. And then I buy everyone else the lactate milk, right? So the 2% lactate milk. Well, I had the lactate milk in there, right? And I had my almond milk. So I bought extra lactate milk, not thinking my other son, my eldest, would drink my almond milk. So I'm saying all this to say is I don't have almond milk, so I cannot make hot chocolate.
Oh,
And
no.
when you said hot chocolate, I just started craving. I make some delicious hot chocolate. I use 2 different types of hot chocolate mix. I love hot chocolate.
Right.
So I'm saying this to say, when we talk about you have to pivot and do what works best for you, as we were literally doing this interview and I'm talking to you, giving feedback, I went and ordered Instacart.
I was going to say,
I have my milk will be here in less than an hour. So guess what I'm going to do? Make me some hot chocolate.
Yes.
Because I'm like, I don't have the time. So I said, and I was thinking I need to go to the grocery store because they ran out of their corn dogs. And I said, oh no. Boop, boop, boop. Instacart will be here. So then guess what mama gonna do? I'm gonna take me a nap.
Absolutely.
After this, I deserve a nap because I went and worked out this morning after dropping my son off. I attend this great class I love. It's through Choose. It's called Dance It Out. And it is amazing. The class will take Shamari is her name. And she worked us out. I got into the hot sauna. I didn't want to leave because we were having some good conversations in there as moms. We were sweating it out inside the sauna, the hot sauna. I got to go because I have an interview, right? So rushed home, took a shower, did all that or whatever. So guess what? I'm going to take a nap. Absolutely. That's what I'm going to do. My groceries will get here. I'm going to take a nap and wake up and have some hot chocolate.
Absolutely.
And relax myself before I got to go pick up my son from school.
And that's what you need to do. Make that time, be for yourself. And I drink my hot chocolate with oat milk, and it's amazing. I started with oat because of the same reason.
Okay.
The other milk just wasn't doing well for me. I'm mid-40s now, so I'm like, that's not going to work out too well. But oat milk is phenomenal. Okay. And I'm a member of Choose, so hopefully one day I can be there with you. And
we'll have to go. It's a great class. I'll make sure to talk to you about it. It's on Tuesdays. Tuesday mornings at 9, and the same instructor is Wednesday evenings. I can never attend that one, but at 6. But we'll have to go one day. It is absolutely, and I drive all the way over to San Bernardino location. But I do that because it's amazing. So I just want to summarize and just wrap up just for our listeners, our viewers. Just, how does she do it? Jennifer Oglesby, mother of 5, wife, and business owner, CEO. And she's given us some great tips on what she has found to be successful to help her navigate life as a mom, a wife, and a business owner. And one of the things she said is, she uses a daily calendar. She makes sure she marks off her time, and she uses a buffer time to give herself enough time in between to take her breaks and do what she needs to do. But before she even does that, she makes sure in the morning she gives herself 1 hour. She dedicates 1 hour in the morning to herself to get centered, to get focused, whatever she needs to do, whether that's drinking her tea, whether drinking her, as she said, her hot cocoa, her hot chocolate, right? To get herself centered. And then she sits back and she has this self-awareness of, what do I feel like today? And based upon however she's feeling, she creates 3 items that she focuses on, only 3 for that day to accomplish. And when she's doing that, she's not hard on herself. She allows herself to pivot when needed. When things are difficult and needs to change, she does that. She doesn't take on that traditional mom perspective, right? She does what works best for her and what works best for her family. And so we as moms have to do that. We have to look at what works best for us and our families.
That's right. You said it well. Yes, that was it.
Well,
everything.
Are there any other things you would like to leave us with? I know you said you have something coming up for moms that you wanted to talk about.
Okay. So there's one thing. So I guess I can consider myself, and I won't go too long, but as a serial entrepreneur. So I've had, programs through the state of California, all the way down to now I'm vendor through Regional Center with our adult residential facilities. And I went to an event, and, to me, I feel like God works in mysterious ways, and there's just different things that happen. Every point of our life it's either going to be a lesson or it's something new that you have to do, or he's taking you to a different direction. And so one of the things he showed me at this event was how, the world could be full of manipulation. The world could be full of a lot of things. And it's just a matter of, it showed me what I was missing that I wasn't giving back, you know? And so I spoke to a friend without going into too many details, but I spoke to a friend. We pray together. We do a lot of things together. And she mentioned something to me because she's a business owner, you know, been through regional center, same way. And she said, do you follow, you know, the kingdom principles for your business? And I have to be honest, I didn't even know what she was talking about, you know? So I'm walking around this whole time and I'm thinking like, I said, no, I don't, you know? And she said, well, I was in Hobby Lobby today and the owner of Hobby Lobby wrote a book. And we all know Hobby Lobby and how successful that is, you know? And I said, okay, let me get the book. And then there was another book that I got. And so basically, and then I started just reading the scriptures and realizing, and what I took away from everything is that the gifts that God gives us, he wants us to give them away. And I know we had a side conversation, you know, the other day, Nicole, about it.
Yeah, we did.
And it's one of those things. And I realized, and I'm like, okay.
So what are you giving away?
So I'm gonna tell you. So what I'm doing now is, and you know, everything kind of ties in. I am forming a group of 10 women, and I'm going to take them on a journey from January of 2023, this month, all the way until December of 2023. And what that entails is whether you already have a corporation or you only have an idea, I'm going to take everyone from start to finish. We're going to work together as a group. You guys will have access to me. And by the time we finish in December, you will have a fully operating business.
Wow.
I am going to take you from start to finish. And so it's, you know, certain gifts that we have, like I feel like I could start a business in my sleep. You know, I've done it for so long.
Yes.
So now that's just my thing to give back. And, you know, for moms or someone who has a child with special needs like me and says, I want to do something where I'm a vendor and I can work at home and I can do this.
More flexible.
Yes.
I mean, I love that. So you have taken, you know, something you're doing is you're giving away basically these free gifts and skills, right? That you're going to be teaching women on how to form a business. And by the end of this, you're doing personal coaching with them, right? For a whole year for free, which costs hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars.
Thousands, right.
And you're giving it away to assist other moms so that they can, if they want a business, and you're going to show them what to do step by step. So, I mean, I think that is amazing. And you have how many spots left? Because I know it's already filling up.
I have 4 spots left. So
wow.
If you guys are out here and you're listening, please go to my website, and it's www.csoadp.com, and go under the Contact Us tab and just send me a message and let me know that you're interested in joining, you know, our year adventure together, and just let me know, you know, what your business idea may be, and I'm going to gather, and it may be extended open a little bit more. I'm not sure, but if you hear this and you're interested, by all means, please go on there, and I would love to connect with you guys.
I love that. Thank you. I'm going to make sure I put that in underneath so people have access to that. And I just want to say quickly, for those of you who are watching me on you know, YouTube and not listening, you're probably wondering, why is Dr. Nicole wiping her eyes and look like she's crying? I muted my mic because I have allergies and I forgot to take my allergy pill, and I must have caught a little dust. And so my throat, I was trying not to cough, so I had to push the mic and cover my face up so you couldn't see me just hacking over here. But with that being said, then my eyes start crying, like I'm, you know, tears come down my eyes. So that was why. But I'm excited to see that this is something that's amazing that you're offering for women.
Yes.
I mean, I've paid thousands of dollars to do different business, you know, coaching programs that I myself participated in. So the fact that you're giving away this free item to help, you know, nurture and coach some other moms, that's amazing. And so her website is www.csoad, as in David, P as in Paul.com. And then go underneath the Contact Us and make sure that you put your information. Well, thank you so much. So thank you, Jennifer, for just coming on, for sharing just, you know, some jewels with us on how you do it, right? Being able to manage your life with being the mother of 5, wife of 1, right? And business owner,
right,
of multiple things and things that you're doing. And so it has been absolutely amazing. I want to thank you again. for coming on as usual. It is always a blessing to have you on board. And I just thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you too for having me.
All right, guys, you heard this amazing. I mean, if you didn't catch it all the way, go back to the beginning so you can press repeat, right? And be able to listen to that. But just, I was sitting here with Jennifer Oglesby. I just love talking with her. And so she's always so uplifting, enlightening, and just, inspirational when you just see how lively she is, right? With everything that she does. And I hope that you were able to gain something from listening today, some tools, some jewels on how to just aid in your mental wellness, because it's very important as moms that we are taking care of ourselves. So, with this show, I'm going to always talk about putting yourself first, self-rescue, one-on-one, those things we need to do to address our own mental health needs to ensure that we are able to be our ultimate best for not only others, but for ourselves as well. So this is Dr. Nicole Arcady, your mental wellness expert. I hope you guys all have a wonderful, fantabulous day. For those of you who are watching me on my YouTube channel, go ahead and listen to the podcast. That is the same name, Dr. Nicole Arcady. Or maybe you're listening on the podcast and say, you know what? I want to know what Dr. Nicole's facial expressions look like, because I'm always making some facial expressions. Well, you can watch the visual of this same episode on my YouTube channel. What's the name? Dr. Nicole Arcady. Just click on the live section and you will scroll over and see the different types of lives that I have. If you have not already done so, go ahead and subscribe, not only to my YouTube channel, but also subscribe or just follow me on Instagram, as we call it, the IG, right? So that way I'm always offering different motivational, inspirational thoughts and nuggets to help you get through your day, because it's so very important. And let me ask you why. Oh, wait, I was almost remiss. One more thing I have for you. For those of you who may be thinking, you know what, I just don't have time to sit down one-on-one with a therapist, but I just need a little bit more assistance to help me with being able to find my voice, that can just assist me with being able to assert myself and say no and put myself first and address my own needs without feeling guilty. Or maybe you may be going through a difficult time with the loss and you just don't have the time yet, or you're not comfortable to sit down with someone. Or maybe it's just something where you go, you know what, I need to be able to change my mindset because I have a lot of things I want to accomplish in 2023, but I just don't have the time yet, or I'm just not ready to sit down one-on-one. Go ahead and log on to AA Wellness Academy. That's where it's created. They're short, right? They are motivational, and they're designed for you, right? So that's just one of those online courses that you're able to take advantage of if you're into the self-help, and it actually is guided different videos on there with different things it gives you, with items that you can. I like to make sure I give you tools that you can download and you can have tangible items that can help you throughout your day, right? Even when you're finished watching the different online course. The courses, depending on which one you take, you can get through the course within an hour, no more than 2 hours. You can pause it, stop it, however you want to go. And so I really wanted to make sure that for our busy moms, right, our women that are just so busy, wanted to make something that I can have available to you that you can get through. It's one-on-one guided, right? You hear me talking to you, guiding you through with the different topics and different videos, and you're able to have some tangible skills to be able to move to whatever that goal and attain that goal that you have. So you can go on there if you want. You're figuring out well, how do I access that, Dr. Nicole? You can go to my website, www.drnicolearcady.com, right? So that I'll make sure to put that link also in there for you. Well, this is it. I'm sorry. It's always so hard to say goodbye, but we have come to the end of the road, the end of the show. So why is it so very important for me to talk about and for you to hear about mental wellness? Well, that's just simple, because you matter too. Ta-ta for now, everyone. This is Dr. Nicole L.